やつめが
行きます。そうですね。ほんの少し。
あれフィリア？
フィリアフィリア
フィリア？
どうしましょ
行きますぞ。
う。ミック
チョン
ホーリーミッ
超波動弾
クサンダーグレードグリーンボムインスペクトアイリアボム当たれライトニングフィリアボムリアフルフレアインスペクトアイフレアトーネード
Hello everyone! So, are you all surprised? For pretty much all my past runs, I made sure that you would never be able to guess what I had planned for this channel. And I think I did a good job at that, so I hope it's still the case here. This one was actually completed in 2020, it's already an old one, but I just didn't want to announce it right after footage at GBA, for the sole reason that I wanted a more popular entry in between those runs, if you see what I mean. And also, I generally want to congratulate Vic for finding out not the game itself, but the reason I was taking so long to announce this run. But, I need to say it now, this is not a meme run. In fact, over time it probably became one of my favorite runs. And I'm not even joking. I know this may sound weird because Destiny PSX has aged poorly, there's spell pause, it looks slow, but to me, this run also marks a real paradigm shift in terms of solo runs, as it forced me to approach this game in a completely different manner than all my previous ones. I'll go deeper into the details and the reasons why, but first, let's announce the restrictions. First, we have the classics, Filia solo, no damage, no item. Then we have Clemente only. The only reason I added this is to prevent Filia from having access to more powerful spells too soon, since in this version, the Overswordians actually learn their emblematic spells before Clemente, like Cyclone, Explosion or even Fearful Flare. And that's about it. I can't even say it's a no menu run because unfortunately, you have to open the menu to cast spells. That's probably the part you won't like much because there's a lot of menuing, but if you don't see this game as an action-oriented one, it won't be a big deal. This is also almost an all arts spells used, but I forgot about this serve extension, so I can't even write it here. Not like it was a huge deal to begin with, since that restriction was only a way to force me to vary the arts I use. Anyway, this one was pretty balanced despite the lack of difficulty setting. It's a complete joke when you have a party, but not so much when you're soloing. Just like in Frontier GBA, there's no New Game Plus, meaning you have to manage with the few resources available at the time. The reason I liked this run so much is because this is the most strategy-oriented run I ever did. I really needed to learn the patterns of the enemies as a team, how the enemies work together, and that's something you usually never ever truly need to do in other tales, so I really appreciated that. And you'll see what I mean once I release the very first video. This run was only possible thanks to having a lot of different ways to dodge attacks. As you may know, Inspect I grants a ton of iframes and allows you to dodge almost everything. The genesis of the run was just my curiosity to find out how long this could carry me through the whole game. And the answer is not that much. As generous as this heart is, it also prevents you from moving for a while, and the enemy just has to wait till the end of the heart to hit you. So it's not all that OP as I thought it would be initially. So I really needed to define real strategies, especially when you know that mid and advanced spells can be dodged at all. Speaking of spells, they are surprisingly well balanced in this game, much better than in the other PSX tales. They are extremely powerful, but they cost a crap ton of TP, and their damage is also balanced around their area of effect. So learning all the spell differences was very satisfying and helped a lot in this run. Filia herself is not that much different to her TC counterpart. She still struggles to deal with situations where enemies are close to her, but in this version, she actually runs pretty fast, which is so damn useful to escape attacks. Her bombs are also very good because they are multi-hits, so they can prevent enemies from approaching for a very long time. Their damage output also becomes much better towards the end of the game. Now for the difficulty graph. Note that this is a very short run, since there's only 17 bosses and mini-bosses in the whole game, and as you can see, the run is much harder at the beginning. It's not very surprising for a game with no new game plus, but unlike the previous runs I did, the beginning is not hard just because of the lack of resources, but also because the fights are way more brutal since you have to deal with multiple enemies and you are often surrounded. I couldn't choose which battle was harder between Batista and Leon, because they are the hardest ones in their own category. Batista is by far the hardest fight with multiple enemies, while Leon is the hardest 1v1 in the game. In the end, they both forced me to learn many details and hidden mechanics in order to beat them. Something I also really liked about this run is that all bosses provide some differences that change the way I have to tackle them. Considering it's not really anything in the more modern tales, I think it was worth mentioning this. And that's about it. You know, with this run it will be the 4th time I've played through Destiny PSX. It's pretty scary when you think about it, but I once again learned a lot of interesting things about the game, so it was worth it. I'd like to end with a bit of trivia. On the day I teased my new runs for this year, my friend Panban Richard released 2 videos that are basically archives of his endgame streams. When I discovered those, I burst in love because, well, this is what I got in my feed. What kind of coincidence is this? I wanted so much to comment on that, but I couldn't because I wanted to keep it secret. It was very hard for me to keep quiet. Anyway, this is the last one I wanted to announce. There won't be any new one before some time because I need to finish everything I have ongoing right now. Next time I will announce all the channel streams for this year, but it will be something simpler, not something as fancy as those announcements. So until then, take care and see you all later.